Hey, this is Scott Ellis, and before we get into this week's episode, I wanted to talk to you about Disney. Now, when I say the word Disney, the first thing that probably comes to your mind is the happiest place on earth. And if that's the case, it is probably because of their time-tested decades of experience at providing high-quality service and always being focused on customer satisfaction at almost any cost. Now, the Collin College Preston Ridge campus in Frisco is offering you an opportunity to learn how Disney does it. They're inviting you to join them for Disney's Approach to Quality Service, a professional development course presented by Disney Institute. If you're interested in bringing that level of quality service to your business, all you have to do is go out and register at collin.edu/corporate-college/Disney or hit the link in this episode. That course is coming up on Tuesday, October 30th, and you don't want to miss it. Now let's get on with the show. Welcome to the Frisco Podcast. I'm your host, Scott Ellis, and on this episode, we're joined by Tammy Meinershagen from Frisco Association for the Arts. Tammy, welcome back. It's been a while.
Yes, thank you so much for having me.
You bet. It's good to have you here, and first time in the new studio where we're
really
recording.
Cool
so,
in here.
Yeah,
it's like glowing. I'm feeling very happy.
Yeah, RNCN has done a fantastic job. This is a fun place to be.
Definitely.
So we wanted to have you on and just talk a little bit about what's happening with Frisco Association for the Arts. There's always a lot happening in Frisco in general, and we know that you are continuing to advocate for the arts. So give us an update. What's kind of going on around town?
Gosh, well, just today there was an article published in the Dallas Morning News, and we're so excited to see the regional eyes on Frisco and specifically about the arts. So if you check out the Metro section, it's Arts seeks to co-star with sports in Frisco.
And that is for August. What is the date today?
And that is today, the 7th.
So,
So the conversation right now, I just love that title because the conversation is that arts is now kind of going up to the same playing field as sports in Frisco, where we're getting more attention. There are creative businesses growing. There are people coming from all over not just the Metroplex, but also all over the country, all over the world, moving to Frisco, looking for arts options, looking for the community, and we're so excited that it's growing so much in Frisco. We're happy to be leading that too.
Can you talk about some of the things that you see coming to Frisco?
Well, I get probably 2 or 3 calls or emails daily on different film festivals, different organizations, dance groups, people wanting to partner, people who have been doing something specifically in their corner of the country saying, I'd like to see this happening where we live now. So that's very exciting. I wish I had 50 people on staff to go to each one of these people and say, let's figure it out. Let's make it happen. We just don't have the engine right now, but at least the community is building the interest for making things happen.
Yeah, that definitely feels like there's a lot of momentum behind the arts.
Yes, and honestly, people have always pegged me as she just wants the building. She cares about the building and the home for the arts, and I do. But there's a reason for that, and it's that there would be a center then for people to be able to come and try to make these things a reality. Yeah. Without a venue, where do people go? You have to kind of just make it happen in different random places around the city. So people are feeling the growing pains of not having a physical place to put on a theater production, to put on a dance production, to offer workshops and classes. Maybe there's a senior tap dancing group that wants to do things in Frisco. Wow. Yeah. From children to adults, all kinds of programming. There's veterans who want to get into all sorts of genres of the arts. I wish we had a place for all these people to go and thrive. And so for anybody that's listening, if you're not 100% clear on what Tammy's talking about, is the Frisco Arts Center? Well, a home for the arts. Yeah, a place to go. So yeah, there have been a number of people. Tammy is certainly at the forefront of that have been out trying to figure out how to make a center for the arts, a physical geographic building to be kind of the home base for the arts happening in Frisco. And there have been some efforts in the past with other cities that didn't really pan out. I'm not going to get into politics of all that. Sure.
But what we're looking at is trying to get something here in Frisco that is for Frisco, by Frisco, about the arts in Frisco.
Exactly.
And again, it's not to detract from all of the other great arts things that are happening around town, but it's really to create that home base for that community to come together.
And just like there are multiple arts venues in Frisco for sports, because baseball is not soccer, is not football. We would never have all of them go into one place and say, this is what you get, and you're going to have to do everything here. Same, field, and just use it for your thing. It just wouldn't make any sense. So it totally makes sense that we would see cropping up, which we are now, people saying, I want to put this type of venue in Frisco, and they're going to make it happen. And like NAC Development is going to build a 300-seater theater, on Main Street. That's very exciting because Frisco Youth Theater is going to get to go in there and program, and it'll probably be open for musicians and local artists. So that's going to be fabulous for the community. And then Music City is a music venue that's coming to Frisco, and they're going to have live music bands, people coming from Nashville. That's going to be very exciting as well. So we see that momentum, and that all happened within the last few months, those announcements being made. So it's very exciting.
A lot of good stuff coming down the pipe.
Yeah.
I'm curious, and I'm going to go out on a little bit of a limb here. I don't know if this is, if I'm going completely off topic,
That's
but
okay.
You don't usually think of much of an intersection between sports and arts necessarily. But if I could make a little Venn diagram and put that little place in the middle, I'm thinking about, and specifically what I'm thinking about is esports and how big of a deal that is becoming in Frisco. And a lot of the work that goes on behind the scenes to create those games employs a lot of artists. There's a lot of art behind creation there. Is that a logical intersection in Frisco,
absolutely.
you think? Does that make sense? Or am I just kind of crazy?
Not at all, no. Well, you might be crazy, but I'm just kidding. We're all a little crazy. But, Randy Pitchford, who is the CEO of Gearbox, he employs the most artists in Frisco because it's through his video games, and they're now doing esports as well. It does require a lot of creativity and a lot of the arts. So that's not... It's not a stretch at all. But secondly, the fact that people who are involved in esports or sports in general, we are all doing the same amount of dedication to the craft, whatever that is, and it takes so much time, a lot of team building. When you're in a team, whether you're hitting a ball together or whether you're in a choir together, it's team building, and you're working on something greater than you, something that blesses other people, something that you enjoy, and that if you don't practice, you're not going to do well at. So there's a lot of intersection between sports and arts, and I was really excited when Joe Trahan called before the NFL draft and asked if I would bring my violin to the Star and play on the 50-yard line and be part of this segment he wanted to put together called the Art and Science of the NFL Draft. And it was so unique that he would think of it to include arts and science. So he had a person that was doing a charcoal sketch, and then he had me playing, and then the next clip would be Jerry Jones at the draft table talking. And after we saw the video, which was aired literally right before the draft began, my friends were like, "Oh my gosh, did you play for Jerry? It looks like he's smiling at you." I'm like, "No."
That's clever
He doesn't
editing,
know me at all.
Yeah.
But I just happened to be edited right next to him. So
Is that performance online somewhere? Can we go look that up?
Yes, you can look it up. It's on our Frisco Arts YouTube page.
Okay.
And it should also be on our Frisco Arts Facebook page.
Okay, we'll definitely find that video and share
it's
it
really
out.
cool.
We'll embed it into the podcast episode for this so people can see it
awesome.
there as well.
Yeah.
That's good stuff. So what else is coming down the pipe? You guys have a lot of good events. You've been really good about kind of leveling up the arts-related events in Frisco. So what kinds of things do we have to look forward to?
Well, there's so many different types. And the reason why we're, Frisco Arts didn't historically do any kind of events. It was managing a building, and, the history was very different. But what we've seen is there is a need. There is a desire in the community to get together and do things that are arts-related, whether it is networking. And so we have happy hours that our membership can attend, like tomorrow night at Zaytinya at the Star. They are hosting our Frisco Arts members to come and enjoy complimentary appetizers with the cash bar. And
Wonderful.
it's wonderful to have restaurant partners like that who recognize that they'd like to get people in the door and introduce their restaurants, and it benefits us, it benefits them. We just had one recently at DeMario, and it was packed, and they're like, can you just come back every week? So we're seeing a great cross-section of arts and business. And we see that also with Ladies Who Launch. It's been a really popular program. We had
Wendy loves that. Yeah.
We had Wendy come as a guest speaker. And this we've seen with women who are interested in arts and business specifically. And they can be what we call wantrepreneurs or actual entrepreneurs, but women who want to try something different in their field or branch out. We have a panel discussion of one woman in arts full-time and one woman in business full-time. And I ask them questions about their background and how the arts and business sectors intersect. It's been really fun. It's a lunch over at Crest Infinity with their executive chef, she does an amazing job. So you can find that information online. And then, of course, showcasing our local community. We love to have events that bring the entire community together. And October 6th is one you've got to put on your calendar. It's the Frisco Arts Walk and Run. So we're combining arts, sports, and wellness again. And it's a 5K at Hall Park. So it starts with that beautiful run around the Hall Collection at 8:30 a.m. on Saturday the 6th, and then you can go into the festival, which we've had for the last couple years, and it was featured on Good Morning Texas, and we're so excited. The article in Dallas Morning News tells about it today that we are partnering with the Clyburn competition. It's the piano Olympics, essentially.
Yeah, that's a huge deal.
It is huge. I mean, you should have seen me when I got the phone call that they're going to partner with us. I mean, I was screaming. I was so
What does that mean, though? What does the Clyburn competition partnering with Frisco Arts mean?
What it means is they're coming to our festival to bring a Steinway piano, and they're also flying in one of their most recent junior Clyburn winners to perform. So Clayton Stevenson is going to be performing, and their junior Clyburn is what's up this year. So it happens every 4 years, the Clyburn itself for the adults, and then the junior Clyburn. So the junior Clyburn's happening, and their honorary chair is former First Lady Laura Bush. So she's helping to put this incredible feat together of these musicians from all over, and it's ages 13 to 17 that will compete. And I'm sure there will be some kids from Frisco, McKinney, in North Texas that are competing, but it's in an international competition.
Yeah, the Clyburn. If you haven't heard about that, go look it up. It is a big deal.
It is,
and the talent is off the charts.
Well, and it takes they do it every 4 years because it takes that long to train to do the music, to learn everything, and to be able to perform that many different preliminary rounds. I mean, it's absolutely incredible. And
okay, but we're going to have a winner performing?
We'll have one of the 2015 winners will be at our event performing.
That's awesome.
It's amazing.
That's huge.
I know. And then, of course, we also have the Grammy-nominated UNT Jazz Lab Band, 1 o'clock Lab Band, with director Alan Baylock. So UNT is a big partner with us. They're coming to bring other jazz bands as well. So it's going to be an incredible celebration of our regional partners as well as our local arts partners. Like Melody of Hope is bringing some local artists to perform. Our Visual Arts Guild artists will be out painting live, and we'll have vendor booths. So if people are interested, they can go to friscoarts.org to be there and support the event. But it all goes to help support the arts in Frisco.
Do people have to buy tickets to the event?
The run is a ticketed thing. You have to register, so it's $35 now, and then after September 1st, it's $40. But the festival itself, if you don't want to run and you just want to come and see everything, that's free, and it's free because of our sponsors. Hall Park, we could not do it without them.
Yeah, Hall Park is an amazing place.
Huge,
and I know Craig Hall has been a huge advocate for the arts for a long time.
Yes. He not only is I would say, our biggest advocate for the arts in Frisco, he's our biggest arts philanthropist in Frisco because, he could have done so much more with that land to make money on the land than to put art and trails and walking paths and beautiful lakes. But he has given it for the community to enjoy, and he continues to want to give more to the community regarding the arts and wants to see a performing arts center right there at Hall Park, which I think is a beautiful statement and a visual corridor, honestly, of arts and sports sharing the same quadrant in Frisco.
Yeah, and it really is neat. So if you get a chance, definitely go walk through Hall Office Park. But more importantly, get out there on October 6th.
That's right.
for the Frisco Arts event, because that is going to be a fun one.
It really is. And the medals too. So we're doing unique medals, but the award winners, like the run winners, are going to get a piece of art by one of our local artists. So it'll be different in that way. Yep.
Yeah.
And we're also getting a painted piano. Frisco Fine Art is going to help us get a piano painted and on the run route. So it'll be really cool. So even along the run, you're going to have pop-up music and art and dance. So
what a cool and unique run. I haven't done a run in a long time, but I might have to do it just
and
because.
you don't even have to run it. You can walk it. You know, it says run.
My ego won't let me do that.
But yeah, we did our research. It is the only arts-themed 5K that we can find in this area.
Oh, that's something special. And I'm glad to hear UNT's getting involved as well.
Yeah.
Of course, we know that UNT is opening a campus in Frisco, but they're starting the process of getting more embedded in the community now.
They are. You know, I'm so impressed with the UNT leadership.
Yeah, they're really something.
Dr. Smatris, who's the president, you know, if I email him, he will email me within the hour and tell me, you know, we're so excited about this or whatever. And they're so innovative. They're so open to trying something very different and coming to our event. You know, they didn't have to do that last year, but they wanted to. They wanted to make a statement and for the arts, and they did. And so they're thrilled to partner with us again this year. Every person I've ever met at UNT has just been phenomenal.
It's funny you mentioned him. He was sitting behind me in Frisco City Hall the night that they announced that they were opening the campus and that whole vote happened. I had no idea who he was, but he was sitting behind me and he leans up and I was doing some work for Lifestyle Frisco, and he started asking, what is Lifestyle Frisco? And I'm talking to him, explaining it to him. And of course I wasn't smart enough to ask him who he was and what he did. I was just, you know, somebody kind of looking over my shoulder curious, which was fine. And then he got up and we made the presentation. I was like, oh, good.
Oh, well, that was him.
Very nice. We're glad to have you here. But also for people that don't, you know, there's a lot of people in Frisco that aren't not only not from Frisco, but not even from Texas or the North Texas area.
Exactly.
That may not know that UNT has a very, very reputable music school.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
like world renowned.
Yeah.
They've had over 100 or so Grammy awards. I mean, it's an incredible music program over there.
Where did you go to school?
I went to Northwestern University.
Okay.
So I was a piano performance and an English education major, and came out and taught English for several years in a junior high in the North Shore.
Yeah, very good. So other little side story, but we're having some fun here. Way back in the day, I lived in Texas off and on a couple of times.
Okay.
And in the late 90s, I was here, and I was actually a supernumerary for the Dallas Opera.
What?
Yeah. I
No kidding.
did some work with the Dallas Opera.
Wow,
just
that's
as a super,
awesome.
but it was fun. It was so much fun.
That's so great.
And you will never appreciate opera singers more than when you stand on stage next to one and they just let
and
it
they're
out.
so powerful. And even
it's
the tiniest
unreal.
women have these huge voices. Yeah.
It's really something. But one of the singers that I worked with was a guy named Tim Noble. And I ended up, when I moved back to Indianapolis, I did just one season with the actually just one show with the Indianapolis Opera. And he was in that particular one as well, so I got to reconnect with him. But he was a professor at Indiana University.
Oh, my goodness.
And they have a big opera program there as well, which you wouldn't think necessarily. But
Right.
Bloomington, Indiana Opera, those aren't normally things you put together.
I know, but you wouldn't put, you know, the Piano Olympics in Fort Worth either. You wouldn't necessarily think about it that way, right? But it's everywhere. I love that, you know, no one probably knew that about you, that you have this love for opera. Wendy shared at Ladies Who Launch that your first date was the symphony.
Yeah.
And she's like, sold.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know because I used to have, you know, long hair, played in a metal band, all that stuff.
Right, I remember. I still haven't seen proof, but I remember you saying
I have
that.
pictures. They're on Facebook, actually.
Okay, we'll link them with this.
Okay. I'll link out to Scott's long hair pictures. But, you know, I've had a love of music my whole life and you know, was a musician for a very long time. I still play, not nearly as actively. But, yeah, the classical stuff I've just really been a fan of.
There's something, you know, that classical music specifically, if you've never listened to it and you just, you know, just taste it and try it, listen to 101.1. But it is so complex. It does something for your soul that really pop music just can't do.
Yeah.
That's limited to 4 to 5 chords. This, you know, kind of genius that comes from Bach, Mozart, and then, you know, other genres like Rachmaninoff is my favorite composer. I could listen to that all day. And I would never, ever get tired of it. And it's so good for the soul.
And I tell people the same thing about opera. People have a vision. If they've never really gone to an opera, listening to it is one thing. And there's a lot of beautiful arias that you can go just listen to. But you have to go to experience it and really understand it.
That's right.
And the first time you take one in, I think the opera you choose for your first one is really important. If you dive off into something that's a little bit too heavy and too deep, you're probably going to be a little bit lost on it. But if you pick something that's a little bit more fun, and I'm thinking like the Magic Flute, Mozart, it's a really fun opera. My first opera was actually Marriage of Figaro.
Oh,
another
it
Mozart
was,
opera,
okay.
right? Really fun and kind of got me hooked.
Yeah.
The first one I was in was Aida. A little bit more traditional in that it's, really tragic. Everybody dies.
Right.
But the music is phenomenal. It's just really something to behold. So
Absolutely. Well, I mean, that's something that I just try to encourage, and what we love as Frisco Arts is to expose people to all forms of art, because I don't think until you've tasted it, until you've really experienced it, you can know whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
And a part of our red carpet concert series that you all helped to sponsor last year, that was our way of engaging, a very intimate concert experience. People seeing a Stradivarius violin like right in front of you, the opera singer again just right in front of you, and it just, Mayor Cheney was hooked. I don't think he'd ever heard an opera singer before.
You'll get hooked if it hits you in the right way. You'll definitely you'll get hooked. But can you talk a little bit about that first red carpet event, because that you said Stradivarius, like you just kind of went past right over it, but
seriously,
that's
like
crazy.
A Stradivarius violin. So how that all came about was, again, the need and the desire of our membership saying we want to see more world-class music coming to Frisco. So I'm like, great, how do we make that happen? Where can we even make that happen? And so the partnership with the Lincoln Experience Center at the Star is just wonderful, because they allowed us to come in there, move all their cars out of the way, put in a red carpet, 120 seats. And then we worked with Gary Levinson, the associate principal concertmaster of the DSO, who is using the DSO's Stradivarius, the $8 million violin. I know. And arts people are like family. It doesn't matter where you are, when you meet them, we all understand how important it is to work and partner and help each other. The tide raises us all. So he's like, absolutely, I'm going to come out to Frisco and we'll do this. And his wife, Baya, was going to, accompany him on the piano. So he partnered with Steinway, who brought the piano, and then several restaurant partners next door to bring in the food. And it was the most magical experience. It was a really wonderful night. Yeah. Are there more of those planned? Well, we hope so. We have to get the funding and the sponsorships to keep offering them at a severely discounted price of just $75 for the concert and the food. And the wine. All of that was included. So there's not a lot of times in your life you're going to get to go hear somebody up that close playing a Stradivarius. I know. And meet with him, and just talk with him about his experiences. And it was for Valentine's, which was even more fun, because no one likes to fight the crowds on Valentine's. And that's right, it was Valentine's. Wasn't it? That was the first one. And so we had all the roses everywhere, and we have some things planned. We just have to make sure we can get our support and sponsorships up. Okay, and all my opera talk earlier was a really roundabout way of getting to this question, which is the Dallas Opera did a telecast of a performance at the Star. They did a simulcast March 17th, 2017. And that was the first arts event at the Star. Not many people know that, but it was before the Omni, everything was, I think the Omni might have been built, but everything else hadn't been built yet. Right. But the Dallas Opera is so innovative in that way too. They realize they've got to reach larger audiences. And so that was like a 2.5-year project in the making. It was so exciting to see it come together. And people would ask me before the event, okay, so what do you think will be a success for, opera in Frisco? And I'm like, well, maybe 500 people. I'd be happy to see about 500 people there. Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah. Even that seemed kind of high. Well, as they stream in nonstop, 4,000 people, I'm like, wow, this is absolutely amazing. How many? 4,000 people came. Wow, that's a home run. And stayed. So that was the other amazing part, was I thought, okay, well, this is great. They came to try to taste it for 5 minutes. The kids are running around. But what was fascinating about that performance is that, this huge Jumbotron where you normally see the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders and football players, you see the wind spear chandelier. Oh, yeah. And you felt like you were right there. And the camera, the videographer, did an incredible job capturing the feel of being at the Opera House. So he would scan, and you could see all the people in the box seats, and then he'd like roll down. And then right before it began, I don't know if you remember, it went right into the orchestra pit, and you could see all the instruments, and they'd come right up to the fingers. And it brought me back to when I was a kid, and I was able to also see an orchestra live, when I was 5. That's what got me hooked. And I thought, there's going to be a lot of kids in this audience that will never, ever forget this moment.
Yeah.
And they're going to go and become artists or musicians, and this will be what propelled them, just like the Chicago Symphony propelled me when I was 5. So it was just a magical evening.
What was the performance? Was it Madame Butterfly?
It was Madame Butterfly.
Okay, that's what I thought, yeah.
And it's perfect, it's kid-friendly. But the fact that after intermission, I expected maybe 50% might go away because it was going to be a late night. I mean, almost everybody stayed. So seeing the photos from the back at like 9:30 and everyone's in rapt attention watching the screen, I mean, I couldn't even believe I was in Frisco.
That's a great way to do it. Yeah, that's a good story. So I hope we get some more of that to happen again.
I would love to see that happen again.
I know I
really would.
It takes a while to coordinate something like that.
It does, and it's quite expensive.
Yeah.
To offer it free. Once again, it always takes support. We always need to have both creators of the arts, but we also need patrons of the arts.
So on that note, what is the best way for people to get involved to help to support the arts
in
Frisco?
You can get involved by becoming a member. So membership to Frisco Arts is advocacy. And we put your name on our website with our growing number of advocates in Frisco. And it's just $50 a year individually or $100 for a family to join and support our advocacy and our scholarships, which we've given $50,000 plus in scholarships in the last 2 years for students pursuing a career in the arts. So your money goes to support that, as well as our innovative programs and events, and like the Frisco Arts Walk and Run. So just a small investment, but you can also make a larger one if you wanted. If you're a corporation and you want to have your business logo and hyperlink on our homepage, then it's $500 a year to support us, and it goes up from there. But I really encourage people to stand with us. And I've said, I have a personal goal. I'd like to see 1,000 members by the end of this year. And we're a little bit almost halfway there. But the ultimate goal, I'd like to see at least 10,000 members of Frisco Arts. And I don't think, it sounds like a crazy number, but then when you think about 170,000 people in Frisco, could you find 10,000 people that said, yeah, I would like to champion the arts. I believe in it. So. Right? So I don't think it's impossible. But that's my philosophy.
Well, no, I think that's a very reasonable goal. And as Frisco grows, that should be easier and easier to attain, I hope. But
yeah, I hope so.
And I say easier very loosely because I know there's nothing easy about everything that you're doing for the arts in Frisco. It's a ton of work. And we're glad to have somebody like you out there at the tip of the spear.
Thank you so much. It's been a lot of work, and but now you kind of feel like there's momentum growing, like the snowball's getting bigger and it's starting to roll. So so we're much more in the fun stage right now. I'm really loving it. Good. Well, Tammy, keep up the good work. Thank you so much. If people want to learn more, where's the best place for them to go? FriscoArts.org. That's easy. FriscoArts.org. That's right. And you can also just hit Lifestyle Frisco and search Frisco Arts. We've got a bunch of different articles and things on there about you guys. And thanks for the Give for Frisco that you've started. Oh, you bet. We were happy to do that. That's such a brilliant idea, to put everything all in one place. It wasn't ours. We're not going to take credit for it, but we had been looking for a long time for a way to support all of the various nonprofits in Frisco, and we'd batted around a lot of different ideas, and just nothing quite clicked that made sense for us until that came up. And once it did, we just ran with it, and I think inside of a month we had it up and running. So that's great. Yeah, you can go to giveforfrisco.com and it'll redirect you to the Lifestyle Frisco page, and you'll find Frisco Arts up there front and center, and all of the other nonprofits around town too. So thank you. Thank you so much for supporting the arts. You bet. Well, keep up the good work. Thank you. And keep us posted. We'll make sure though, October 6th, everybody get out there. That's going to be a really fun event. Run, walk, listen to amazing musicians, all of that. It's going to be a good time. I know, it really will. I hope to see you all there. Well, Tammy, thanks for coming on. Thank you. And thank you to all of you for tuning into the Frisco Podcast. We'll talk to you next time.
You're listening to RNCN, the digital destination for premium talk radio.